Chapter 30. A Dying Rose. As chaos erupted throughout the great halls, nobles and servants alike fled in disarray. Silken robes tangled together as elves who had stood with perfect composure moments before now abandoned all pretense of order. Protocol forgotten, they pushed and scrambled toward the exits, leaving ornate doors slamming behind them. Council members, at least those not implicated in Lily's accusations, hastily retreated to their secluded chambers. Guarded by grimaced faces, sentinels whose spears crossed protectively before them. With her armor still splattered with blood from the confrontation, Lily broke away from the pandemonium. The humans, she muttered, suddenly recalling her other responsibilities. With purposeful strides, she cut through the fleeing crowd, ignoring the fearful glances and whispered accusations trailing in her wake. She found them grouped up in an antechamber. Ghalen stood tall despite his obvious discomfort. His face revealed nothing, though his eyes continually strayed toward the soaring crystal archways above. Beside him, Haldor's hand never strayed from the hilt of his sword. Fina rushed toward Lily. "Are you okay?" she asked, grabbing Lily's hand. "I'll be fine," Lily replied, attempting a reassuring smile.
"Quite a show,"
Haldor remarked, his expression unchanged. Nelrith threw her arms upwards, gesturing toward the vast ceiling. "It was amazing! You flew!" "Follow me," Lily said without offering explanations. "We must go to the private council chamber. They will have retreated to deliberate." As they ascended the spiraling staircase towards the council chambers, Fina's fingers brushed against the impossible architecture, steps that seemed suspended in mid-air, railings carved from what appeared to be solidified moonlight. "By Luma's light," she whispered. "I've read of many wonders, but never anything like this."
"Save your prayers, Fina,"
Ghalen interrupted quietly.
"We might need them for what comes next."
Lily approached the guarded doors with outward confidence, though her heart hammered furiously beneath her armor. The elite guards, warriors with centuries of service, shifted uneasily at her advance. The taller elf's ears twitched anxiously as he leaned toward his companion. "Do we let her in? I mean, is a council member?" He murmured urgently, armor planes clinking as he shifted nervously from foot to foot. The humans behind Lily collectively held their breath. To everyone's relief, an imperious voice called out from beyond the partially open doors. "Let the Dawnbreaker pass. Her companions as well." Stepping into the hallowed chamber, Lily felt the council's gaze sharp and discerning as hawk's eyes tracking their every move. Despite their best attempts at composure, the humans couldn't suppress their awe as they entered the inner sanctum. Several members stiffened at the sight of humans in their sacred chamber. Speaker Arledge broke the tension with measured diplomacy. "Glad to see you alive, Dawnbreaker, though your choice of companions is highly irregular, to put it mildly." His gaze flickered toward the humans, a blend of curiosity and subtle disapproval clear in his expression. "But these are dire times, and your insight is invaluable." He raised a hand as several council members protested. "Transgressions will be addressed later." He leaned forward, ancient eyes growing serious. "It is good to see you, Lytheria, but pleasantries must remain brief today. Do you have information on Ravemark's allies?" Lily met each gaze, sensing a hint of pity from her former peers. They likely considered it cruel that she had to reclaim the Protector's mantle. Still, she had to play the part if she wanted their aid against the Algoric. Drawing a deep breath, she answered. "Goldleaf, Deeproot, and Kelleraz. All three have sided with Ravemark. Their combined strength is no small threat, but I suspect much of their power derives from the Dark Hoon." The mere mention drew sharp intakes of breath around the council chamber. Better they accept it now and stand ready when the enemy breaches the shores. If Ravemark speaks truthfully about an army at his back, we must hope they are not yet prepared for an invasion. Our strength has diminished. Perhaps we were fools to believe our wars were behind us when we sealed our gates. As she spoke, dizziness overcame her, and Pyre's voice echoed in her mind, clear and resonant.
"The strong must protect the weak."
Regaining herself, Lily saw the room filled with worried faces. Egwenia, the master of merchants, voiced their collective concern. "Lytheria, are you well?" Fina was at her side, steadying her. Lily felt a dampness on her cheek, a stray tear. Wiping it away, she straightened her posture. "I'm fine," she said, trying to keep the vulnerability out of her voice. "Forgive me." Speaker Arledge stretched his hand outward in a plea. So, what would you have us do, Lytheria? And now came her gamble. Can I sway them? Lily met his gaze. Forge an alliance with these humans. She gestured towards Ghalen. Help restore humanity to its former glory. Only when they are strong again can we hope to stand against our common enemy. Her eyes lowered. I know decisions of such magnitude require time, but we no longer have that luxury. Their capital will fall if we do not act fast. Riviera, adorned in flowing twilight silks and a silver circlet etched with deliberate script, raised a slender finger in ejection. You speak as though your decision is already made. Could we not simply wait and ally with whoever emerges victorious in their human war? She cast an indifferent glance toward Ghalen. No offense intended, of course. Her comment was a useless gesture, as the humans did not understand the conversation at hand. Lily's gaze hardened as it met Riveria's. I have done everything in my power for our people. These humans saved me. I owe them the same courtesy. Without their help, I would still be bound by Darkhoon magic, lost to Ravemark's corruption. My honor compels me to help them now. I will join them, regardless of the Council's decision. Elion's face turned pale. Would you truly sacrifice yourself for these humans? The previously subdued whispers erupted into loud murmurs of disbelief and concern. The din of disagreement had barely faded when Riveria cut in. So we are to sacrifice the Dawnbreaker for promises made to these humans? Ghalen must have sensed where the conversation was heading. He stepped into the center of the room, his voice urgent.
You must help us. Without you, my people will perish.
We must do nothing, Riveria snapped in common tongue. And you will remain silent in these chambers, human. The speaker raised a hand, signaling Riveria to step back. She speaks harshly, but truthfully. We cannot send our forces to fight in a foreign war we know nothing about. Not when we ourselves may be under attack.
But Lytheria swore to me,
Ghalen insisted. Don't be naive, the speaker replied. She cannot speak for the elven people of her own accord. I failed. Something inside Lily shattered, a dam bursting. The faces of every human who had ever aided her flashed through her mind, each an ordinary soul who wanted nothing more than a simple, peaceful life. Naive! Her voice lashed out, sharp as a blade. Yes, their lives are shorter, but they burn all the brighter for it. The ones I know fight for shared dreams of peace and freedom, souls unburdened by arrogance. Thrown into a war not of their making, but one provoked by so-called greater races. She paused. They were all staring at her, their expressions puzzled. We didn't call ourselves greater until we joined forces with the Darkhoon, who we now brand as monsters. What gives us this claim to greatness? Our long lives? The winds of Ilskar forge their people into pillars. The oceans of Kel teach the descendants of Redenia to ebb and flow like the tide, even helping them capture the essence of the sun. In Arania, the mountains make its people as rigid as stone. But all of these forces of nature will endure long after the last of us has turned to dust. We are lost, and it's our damned pride that led us astray. She turned before anyone could interject, ushering the humans out with her. They stepped beyond the council hall, and the heavy oak doors shut behind them with a finality that weighed on her shoulders. The disapproval of the council lingered like a phantom in the cool night air. Outside, the moon, just a pale sliver, cast long shadows from the city's gleaming white towers. The rhythmic tick-tock of hidden clocks echoed through the streets, their haunting symphony marking the passage of time in a place that seemed to stand apart from it. The polished paths stretched empty before her, reflecting the cold, silver light. The group moved in silence, through the moonlight streets, the weight of failure pressing down on Lily's shoulders. She had known, deep down, that this was always a likely outcome, but still, she had hoped. Ghalen walked beside her, his steps heavy, his face shadowed by the dim light. He had not spoken since they left the council hall. When they reached a secluded courtyard framed by marble arches and overgrown vines, he finally stopped.
So that is it then,
he said, his voice hollow.
I'd prepared for this. At least, I told myself I had, but I still thought...
He let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head.
No, I needed to believe they would come.
He turned to her, searching her face for something. Answers, reassurance, perhaps even shared regret. Lily swallowed the lump in her throat. I'm sorry. The words felt small, useless. I did everything I could.
Yes.
He exhaled sharply.
I don't know what will happen now. My people, they will fall.
Lily hesitated, then placed a hand on his arm. Hope isn't gone, she said. I gave you my word, and I will keep it. I will ride with you to war. Ghalen let out a quiet, humorless chuckle.
1 elf? You think that will be enough?
Maybe 1 elf can count for something. She met his gaze. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he nodded.
Maybe it can.
The words were bleak, but there was something in his voice. Perhaps not hope, but the resolve of a man who would fight no matter the odds. Haldor placed a firm hand on her shoulder.
For one, I'm glad to have you beside me on the battlefield.
Before Lily could respond, a voice called after them. Lytheria! She turned to see Elion jogging down the street, his expression tense. Lytheria, will you speak with me? I will, Elion, she said. But first, would you escort them to the stables and help prepare them for the journey? There is something I must see before I leave. Please, do me this one last favor. Elion hesitated, his frown deepening, but after a moment, he pressed his hand to his heart and bowed. As you wish. Without another word, he turned and led the humans away, disappearing into the moonlit streets. Her steps quickened, the rhythmic click of her boots against the stone, the only sound breaking the hushed reverence of the night. She reached the Lifeblood Gardens, a haven of vibrant blooms nestled within the city walls. Amidst the fragrant roses and radiant lilies grew the heart roses with the life force of elves. She slowed, catching her breath as her gaze fell upon one in particular. The rose, once ablaze with vibrant red, now pulsed with a dull, sickly glow. Its petals, once proud and erect, hung limp, their edges curling inwards like retreating fingers. But she remembered it differently. There was a time it had stood tall and strong, vibrant with life. That memory stirred something warm in her, a moment of quiet happiness. Pyre had been with her then, encouraging her as she tried to learn the name of every flower. His laughter echoed faintly in her ears. The memory twisted, the joy soured. Pyre, his fall. She remembered the moment he fell down into the darkness, swallowed by the pit. She had stood there, the power inside her rising like a tide. It had wanted her to take it, to unleash it. And for one heartbeat, she almost did. There was a pain in her chest now, sharp and unforgiving. Her breath came short, her hands trembling at her sides. That terrible power, it had been right there, under her skin. Dark, powerful, alive in its own way. Could she have seized it? Could she have controlled it? Perhaps she could have reached him in time, pulled him back, saved him. But she hadn't. She had been too afraid to try. Too afraid that if she touched that power again, it would take her as it once had, make her a puppet, a slave to its will. She had let it go, and Pyre had died. Tears streaked down her cheeks now, hot against the night-chilled air. She sank to her knees beside the withering rose, fingers brushing the earth, grounding herself in the moment. The tears landing around the bloom would have to be her last farewell. Farewell not just to Lytheria's old friends, her people, or the city, but to herself. The elf she had rediscovered in her memories, whose heart beat in sync with the ancient rhythms of the land, was no longer there, and Lily's destiny lay beyond its borders. She would not let any more friends die. With a final lingering look, she stood, the night wrapped around her like a cloak, the scent of the garden a bittersweet caress. She turned away from the garden, from the city of her kin, and set her face towards the looming battle. Her steps were steady. The city, majestic and eternal, stood as a silent witness to the departure of one of its own, a solitary figure moving through the shadows. As she tightened the straps on her saddlebags and stowed away her final supplies, Elion appeared behind her.
So, you are truly going, light of my heart?
His words were solemn. Lily paused, gripping the leather of her saddle as if trying to anchor herself. My mind is shattered, Elion. The life and battles of the Dawnbreakers seem like ancient tales. Real, but not mine. The only thoughts that feel real to me are those of Lily, that fragile, pitiful thing who had no home. She looked down briefly. Whatever Ravemark did with that blade has weakened my connection to the light. I feel my power wane with each passing day. I visited the garden. My rose has withered. Lytheria did love you, but I am not sure what use I can be for you or our people. She stepped closer, raising her palm toward him. He met her halfway, their hands touching, and she peered into his soulful eyes.
I had hoped to ask you to accompany to Elorioneth, once your duties were fulfilled,
Elion said. Tears broke free from his usually stoic eyes. Lily brushed them away with a tender touch, bestowed a feather-like kiss upon his cheek, and turned back to her horse. And she would have gone with you, she whispered as she mounted. Nudging her horse forward, and behind her, she heard Elion call out,
I will make them see reason, Lytheria. Hold on long enough for me to convince them. Do not die, light of my morning.
A messenger ran up beside him.
My Lord Commander, the Council has summoned you at once. They are to discuss matters of war.